Welcome to the podcast, It's Not You, It's PCOS. Hi, I'm Laura.
And I'm Nick.
We are two expert, accredited practicing dietitians and nutritionists specializing in nutrition for PCOS and fertility.
Together we have over 25 years of experience, and we want to reassure you that if you have ever tried to make diet and lifestyle changes and failed, it's not you, it's PCOS.
Stay tuned as we share our favorite evidence-based nutrition and lifestyle tips that we use with our own clients every day,
so that you can start to feel your best with PCOS.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast, It's Not You, It's PCOS. I'm your co-host, Nick.
And I'm Laura.
And today we're talking about nutrition and supplements for PCOS with a real specific focus on hirsutism or excess facial and body hair. It's got to be one of the most frustrating and emotionally loaded symptoms associated with PCOS. Like you've got all the underlying metabolic symptoms that you might be experiencing, but this one's like front and center. So if this is you, know that there are things that you can do to improve this particular symptom. So today we're talking about what actually helps, what might help and what's probably just draining your bank account. So let's set some expectations.
Exactly. Before we dive in, a quick reality check is that there's actually no one supplement that will cure hirsutism. So that's important because I do see a lot of women spending a lot of money on these supplements that do claim big things. So unfortunately, that's not going to be the thing that cures hirsutism. So we're going to dive into the reasons why it actually occurs and give you some tips that are evidence-based that may help manage the symptom.
Yeah, because if there was something like a supplement that was an absolute game changer, we'd all know about it. Endocrinologists would be prescribing it all the time, and laser clinics, they'd go out of business.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about why does this even occur? So what's driving this? And it's a hormone called, or a group of hormones called androgens, but also by how sensitive your hair follicles are to those androgens. And nutrition can influence that, but it's not an overnight fix. It's we're looking at a few strategies to really target lowering these androgens. So they are high when you have hirsutism.
Yeah, so think months, not weeks, and think foundations first, supplements second. So you can't out supplement a crappy diet.
Yeah.
As I think I've said before.
Yeah. So let's do a quick biology refresher. In PCOS, many people have higher levels of these androgens like testosterone or increased androgen activity. So those androgens can stimulate those hair follicles on the face, chest, abdomen, and back to grow thicker and darker hair. So we do see a lot of, like in my clinic, I do see a lot of women complain about it being on their chin and upper lip as well. And that can be, really distressing because it can be a little bit trickier to hide and a little bit trickier to keep, abreast of. I think a lot of women will try and pluck them out and find that they're doing this on the daily. So it can be that problematic for some women.
Yeah. And I guess I can kind of sympathize with something different, which is a condition called rosacea, which basically everyone always thinks I'm sunburnt. So I'm like, how can I cover that up, or how can I manage it better? And so I kind of get it, but I'm not saying I totally get it. I am a man without PCOS. So yeah, I'm just trying to relate.
Yeah.
But I guess, Laura, so, we're talking about those androgens. What do you think is one of the biggest drivers of high androgen levels? What do you think that might be?
Insulin resistance.
Sure is.
Yeah. So having high insulin doesn't just affect your blood sugar levels and management of blood sugar levels. It directly stimulates the ovaries to produce more androgens. And that reduces the sex hormone binding globulin, meaning more free testosterone floating around. And that's problematic. And that's where we're going to get these symptoms like having this excess hair growth in places that we don't want to see. It can also be reflected in having hair loss as well. So it's not just having hair growth, but you can have hair growing on your chin and then having patches where you're losing hair around the front of your hair as well. So it can look like that for some people.
What's wrong with losing hair on top?
Well, I mean, if you're a woman, this is something
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
quite distressing. It's something that, our hair makes us feel really good. If you ask any woman, when you get your hair done, it is like you've changed your whole life. And when you are losing hair or you've got hair where it shouldn't be, it can really affect your confidence. It can really affect how you feel about your body. And, that's sad that, women are trying desperately to fix this in any way possible. So
yeah.
nutrition does play a role, and we've talked about that insulin resistance really does drive and elevate and does make the symptoms more severe if not managed.
Yeah. So one thing that really affects insulin resistance is food.
Yeah.
So because, these aren't like supplements are great, but I think food is the major factor here. So supplements are basically expensive. They've got some evidence behind them, but the food's got a lot of evidence. So what we want to do is, Laura, put protein with every meal.
Yes, aiming for about 20 to 30 grams of protein is a good target. And we're suggesting that because if you're including protein, that helps lower your insulin spikes and improve satiety. So we don't want to just have your carbs on their own. We want to pair them with a protein, and that's going to be helpful. And also, if you're not having the protein at all, and sort of knowing that you're not quite meeting those protein targets because you're not having them at every meal, then this is a good reminder to include them.
Yeah, and this indirectly helps reduce androgen production over time. So it's really important.
Yeah. And next would be your carbohydrates. So when we talk about carbohydrates, the quality matters. It's not about cutting carbohydrates. It's about choosing ones that are slower to digest and break down. So you might hear the word low GI or a lower glycemic index. These are the type of carbohydrates that we want because they take a bit longer to break down, and we can enhance that impact by pairing them with a protein and a fiber.
Yeah, so I like to say no carbs without friends.
Love.
So think fruit and yogurt or rice with chicken and veggies, just not carbs on their own.
Great. So was that no carbs without their friends? Was that what you said?
No carbs without friends.
That's going to live rent-free in my brain. I love that. Excellent. Next is anti-inflammatory fats. Fats can be your friend. So we want some good quality fats on your plate too, and making sure that you're having them quite frequently. So when I say good fats, I'm talking about those omega-3 fatty acids from ideally your marine sources of fish. Yes, marine sources are fish. Yes, that's what I mean. Those omega-3 fatty acids from oily fish is what I wanted to say, like your salmon, your mackerel, your sardines are really great. Your extra virgin olive oil, nuts and seeds. These can help with inflammation and also it's great in terms of, like, we know that PCOS is an inflammatory condition. So having those omega-3 fatty acids can help with that. And that can also help with that insulin resistance and androgen signaling piece.
And these fats are also satiating, similar to protein. So they make you feel fuller for longer. And therefore, when you're just eating less regularly, you're maximizing when you do eat, of course, getting all the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. But you're not just going back to the pantry all the time as opposed to if you eat carbs without friends all the time. Sorry to reference that again. But you get that big glucose spike and then low, and then you feel hungry sooner, etc. When you're adding healthy fats to your meals and snacks, you're getting that feeling of fullness for longer, which is good for us in the long run. And the last one is consistency over perfection, or progress over perfection, I like to say as well. So you don't need to be perfect. You don't have to have the perfect week to get results. You just need to be, and it sounds boring, but you just need to be consistent and you work up slowly. You take one thing on at a time and you knock that off. And once that becomes part of your routine, then you move to the next thing and you go at your own pace rather than a diet, which involves doing everything all at once. And we know that diets fail, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess having said that, once, you've implemented these strategies, another strategy that might be helpful is some supplementation in addition to that. So supplements that may help, and I think this is the part that everybody wants to know, is let's look at the ones that actually have some evidence. So one that we have touched on this podcast before, the benefits of inositol. So inositol can be helpful, minoxidil and D-chiro. That can be an addition to your PCOS management. If you're trying to target androgens and insulin resistance, that can be great for both. So that does have a lot of evidence behind it and can be a way to improve insulin sensitivity, which can indirectly reduce androgen levels over time.
And therefore hirsutism. So key word is it indirectly affects hirsutism and androgen levels. So it's not a hair removal strategy.
No.
It's a hormone regulation strategy. And it's really focusing or targeting on the core irregularities around PCOS. So it's an awesome strategy.
Yeah, and the dose is around 2 to 4 grams per day, but that's something that you should sort of work out with your dietitian as what you need. So inositols can be a helpful strategy alongside another one which we just talked about, which is omega-3 fatty acids. Nick, walk us through why these omega-3 fatty acids in a supplement form may be helpful as well.
So omega-3s may help reduce inflammation and modestly lower testosterone levels in some people. So we look for a combination of EPA and DHA of around 1 to 2 grams per day. And I suppose it really all depends on how much oily fish the person is consuming. I generally say try and aim for 2 to 3 servings of oily fish a week, and then you might not even need to supplement with a fish oil capsule. But if you're consuming, say, 1 serving or none at all, then supplementation is something that you need to consider. But once again, similar to what Laura said, you should probably consult your dietitian or health professional and get the balance right. So it's completely personalized for you. But food first and then supplements can help out after that.
Yeah. So speaking of seeing your dietitian, dietitians are really great at working out which of these supplements you need. We know that zinc is one that is less commonly known about. We know that zinc plays a role in androgen metabolism and skin health. So this could be one that you discuss whether that is needed. What do the studies say though, Nick, about zinc?
So some studies actually suggest that zinc may slightly reduce hirsutism scores. But this is subtle and not dramatic. So it's like one of those little 1%ers. So it's not like improving insulin resistance. Like it's not as big. It's not a big ticket item like that. But hey, 1% here, 1% there adds up.
Yeah. So I guess that's what the benefit of having someone working with someone is, that they work out what you actually need to be focusing on. And like the next one that I'm going to mention is vitamin D. So if you are deficient, so deficient is the key here. I'm looking at the pathology. If you are deficient, perhaps vitamin D might be helpful as well.
Yeah, and I think that you essentially need to be optimized with vitamin D. So just passing is not enough. We want you well and truly optimized. And the reference range, I know the low end of the reference range is 50. Is it nanomoles, Laura?
Yeah.
I think. But the number is 50. So if you're under that, geez, you need a supplement hardcore. If you are just over that, you probably still need to supplement a lot. And what I'm aiming for with my patients is 100 in terms of their blood result.
That's a little higher than what I aim
is
for.
Optimized. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So just to recap those supplements, we mentioned inositol, omega-3 fatty acids, zinc, and vitamin D. So these are the ones that have the most evidence that we've got to tackle this.
Yeah, but people ask about a lot of other ones too, and I think they need a little bit of context. So let's rapid fire some popular ones. So we did an episode on spearmint tea. It may slowly lower free testosterone. Think supportive, not transformative. You've also got saw palmetto, which acts as an anti-androgen, but evidence in PCOS is limited and it's not appropriate for everyone. And then you've got cruciferous extracts, compounds formed when we digest cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, cabbage and Brussels sprouts. They're commonly marketed in the PCOS space as a hormone balancing or even anti-androgen supplement. But, if someone's trying to sell you this supplement and saying that it reversed their facial hair within, say, a week, unsubscribe immediately. Yeah, maybe a little bit more time on these types of supplements might be beneficial for some, but we're lacking the evidence that our previous supplements have in terms of like omega-3s and inositol, etc. All right, so what actually makes the biggest difference? Here's the honest truth. The biggest improvements in hirsutism usually come from a combination of nutrition to improve insulin sensitivity, target supplements if appropriate, medical management when needed, and cosmetic treatments like laser and electrolysis.
So that doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're using every tool available. So when we've mentioned all these things, what you need is just working with your physiology, working with your pathology, and then choosing the right treatment for where you're at. And that's the best way forward. And it can be confusing, we understand, but I hope today's episode has just highlighted some nutrients that may be falling off your radar. And if you need more assistance with the supplements and putting it all together, then reaching out to a dietitian is a good idea.
So that's a wrap for today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Please share with someone who's living with PCOS, and we'll be back next time with another awesome topic on the podcast. It's not you, it's PCOS. Bye for now.
For now.